What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tia Mowry, My Next Act. This is Season 1, Episode 2, and the episode is titled, Love is Healing. Now, before we get into this review, I have a few things to address, especially because last week when I dropped my review, there was someone in my comment section completely going off about how Corey, he is this big star, and how Tia, she only does Netflix projects, and people keep coming for Corey, and all these things. I mean, baby girl wrote paragraphs, okay? One thing I'm not about to do is go back and forth with anybody in my comments. We're just not about to do that, number one. Number two, I'm questioning if you actually even watched my video, because what I said was, and what I'm standing on, is the fact that Tia is still going to be considered the bigger star than Corey. And Tia was absolutely bringing in more money throughout their marriage than Corey was, okay? Because you were trying to explain to me, Miss Ma'am, how being an extra, people get paid $500. And what I was trying to tell you is that Tia has been acting since she was a teenager, okay? She has multiple shows that are in syndication. To this day, they are in syndication, okay? And yes, Tia does not have as many acting credits as Corey does. However, Tia has always been in the main cast. Tia has always been number one on the call sheet. So therefore, she's making more money. And on top of that, Tia makes more money because she has not only her acting, she has cookbooks, she has a cooking show, she makes products for moms. Tia has a bunch of other things that's under her belt that Corey does not do. Now, am I shitting on Corey? Absolutely not. And I still stand on the fact that when Corey first started acting, he was not booking roles as a main cast member. Okay? He hasn't really been booking stuff that to be a main person until probably about 6-7 years ago. So what we're not about to do is act like him booking guest roles is the same as her being a main cast member. Sorry, that's two different things, okay? But also another thing that I just wanted to point out, Miss Ma'ams, is the fact that you decided to call, I guess, the people who watched my review bitter Betties and say that I was lying on Corey when nobody did no such thing. And also nobody's bitter over here, sweetheart. So, like I said in my review initially, I never said that Corey was not a good actor. I never said that Corey doesn't work. What I did say is that Tia brought in more money, and as of lately, before they got that divorce, there was a power dynamic that shifted because he was making more money, and because at that point he was probably making more money than Tia. But clearly you didn't listen to my review to know exactly what I was saying. So moving on, if you're not gonna listen to my review but you just gonna write paragraphs, baby girl, you can hold them. You can hold them. But now on to this episode, because that is what you guys are all here for. We start this episode off with Tia. She is doing one of those self-reflection videos again, and she talks about the party and how, she loves her friends and how she enjoyed the party that was thrown for her. However, she was not about to put her dress in the fire, and she's actually going to take her wedding ring and get some jewelry made for her kids. Now, did Tia cry? Of course she did. Because one thing that Tia is going to do, she's going to cry. Even though she swears that she doesn't like to cry. I'm like, well, girl, the tears keep dropping on this show, okay? So then we see her go over to the jeweler, and they talk about these rings. Now, in her confessional, she says that, it's hard for her to not think about Corey because, he's the one who gave her these rings. Also, on top of that, she tells us about how he proposed to her, in front of her whole family on Christmas. And I'm just like, girl, it's really given that you are rushing the process of healing. Because you're still crying about this. You're still talking about Corey. And the vibe that I'm getting is that you were not ready to do this show. I think that may be the problem, you guys. Tia needs to do a lot more self-reflection and self-work before she should have came to us on this TV screen. That's just how I feel. But nonetheless, she tells the jeweler that she wants to get a bracelet for her daughter, and she wants to do like a rush order because she wants to give it to her for her birthday. And then for her son, she wants to get like a dog tag made with like the diamonds in it or whatever. Which is a really cute idea considering those rings are only going to sit in a box, or she can sell them. And at the end of the day, they are rings that these kids' father gave to their mother. So it's a cool idea. I've never heard or seen anybody do it. This was new for me. But let's go ahead and move on. So she talks to her assistant slash bestie, Sierra, right? So at first they're talking about this party and what did Tia do with that toy that her other friend gave her or whatever. And next thing you know, they start talking about dating and how Tia was on dating apps. She was on Raya. And if you don't know what Raya is, that's a popular dating app, but it's for select individuals who have money or fame or some type of status, okay? So according to Tia, it was a disaster. So Sierra gets the bright idea of, oh, let's do speed dating. I said, okay, this is specifically for this show. Because in what world would Tia Mowry be going speed dating to meet some weird men? Okay, because we're going to get to them in a second. Like, it's just not realistic. But nonetheless, Tia, she brings up the fact that, she was taught to date and to, get married. But now her perspective has changed. So my question is this, Tia. At this big age, are you just trying to date to have fun? And it leads to nothing? Like, what are we dating for? Because a few minutes later, she's like, I don't want to die alone. So you don't want to die alone, yet you just want to date for fun. Okay, girl. You're confusing me, but I'm just going to let you do your thing. So next thing you know, we see Tia, she is FaceTiming her friend Natasha and tells her about the whole speed dating thing. So Natasha is like, okay, why are you doing this? And Tia's like, she just wants to get her feet wet in dating because she's never dated anybody besides Corey. Okay? That's the only person, her end-all be-all, which we all know. And then they go over, like, outfit options or whatever. And then once she gets off the phone with Natasha, though, she's like, oh, well, let me try practicing how the date will go. And she's talking to the camera guy or whatever. And the way he was giving him answers, I'm just like, Tia, you need to find out if he got a wife or something. I mean, if he's married, don't try to bark up that tree. But y'all had a little banter back and forth. I could see it. He make a little money. You know what I'm saying? He a camera guy. But nonetheless, we move on to see Sierra and Tia. They're in the car. And again, we're talking about these dating apps. One thing that I kind of don't like about this show is that I feel like they have a lot of the same conversations over and over again. But nonetheless, while they're in this car, Tia is second guessing why she made this decision to do this stupid speed dating. Okay? We get to the speed dating place. The first guy she sat down with, he was Italian, but he was super short. And honestly, none of these were her guy. And she wasn't going to find her guy in this type of environment. She wasn't. Let's call a thing a thing. Now, one thing that stood out to me is that she keeps saying that she wants a man with tattoos and bad boy qualities. I'm sorry, Tia, at this big age, now you want a man with bad boy qualities? I need for you to stop playing. Because I'm just trying to understand, at the age of 46, why are you trying to go down the road of drama and heartache? Because that's all you're going to get out of these bad boys. Like, if anything, I'm sorry, you missed it, Tia. I have to tell you, you missed it. You missed the whole point when everybody was in their 20s dating the bad boys. And now the men have grown out of that bad boy stage, and they have grown into being very successful men, okay? And what I mean by that is, for example, Beyonce dated Jay-Z, right? He would be considered a bad boy. He had a hood and thug appeal, you know what I mean? Not that he was like a gangbanger or anything, but he's from the hood, very street, I would say. He's grown out of that and become a businessman, okay? Same thing with like T.I. T.I. had thug appeal, hood antics. However, he's grown out of that. He's a grown man now. Tia, I'm sorry you missed that wave. But think about all of the drama that a lot of the women who dated men who had that bad boy image had to go through. You skipped over all of that. Like, Tia, you skipped over a lot of foolishness, and I need for you to realize that. Now, in my mind, when she's saying now that she wants this bad boy tattoos, I'm just thinking, like, who is she trying to date? Future? Like, y'all, who is Tia Mowry trying to date? Now, if anything, she needs to try to finesse her way to date maybe somebody like 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? He still kind of have a bad boy image, but the vibe I'm getting is that she wants somebody like Future. And it's like, girl, that's not what you want. I don't think you can handle that. I'm just saying. But let's go ahead and move on. So, I forgot to mention, this whole situation with this speed dating went nowhere, okay? First of all, it was all for TV, especially when that guy, he asked for her number. Boy, bye, okay? Goodbye. So, next thing you know, she meets up with Natasha and Sierra. So, they talk about the speed dating experience or whatever, and how it was horrible. So then Tia mentioned how she went on a date with some guy who was on that Raya app, and he had the audacity to wear a grill and then took it out and put it on the table when they were about to eat dinner. And I'm just like, well, Tia, that's what you wanted. You said you wanted the bad boy guy. You want the guy with some hood in him. That's what you get, a man with a grill. You got to be more specific, girl. But moving on, Tia, she talks about how she's never been alone, but she wants a partner. Tia, which one is it, baby? Like, I need for her to fully go through step 1 and then try to get to step 2. Because step 1 is Tia finding out who Tia is. Step 1 is Tia loving on herself and understanding who Tia Mowry is at the core. Number 2 is you trying to find a partner. And I need for her and her little friends to realize that Tia still needs to go through step 1. Okay? So, next thing you know, she starts, crying. And Natasha is like, oh, well, you're lonely or whatever. And Tia's like, I just don't have love. I just really need to have some love in my life. And I'm just like, so Tia, was love missing in the marriage? Is that what the problem was? Because I'm just really confused, y'all. This is the second episode, and I still don't know exactly why Tia got a divorce from Corey. Is it that he wasn't loving and affectionate? Like, if he wasn't, just say that. Because we are all trying to, follow along with the show. But really, you starting to make it seem like you are the problem. Which her having to do some soul searching, that is a personal journey, which may be something that she did not even need to get a divorce for. But we're not even about to get into that. Moving on. Tia, she does say that sometimes she feels like she made a mistake. But her friend Natasha was like, oh no, you thought long and hard about this for years. I said, wait a second. I said, well, how many years has Tia been feeling like this? Because it's given, Tia may have a little bit of depression because something's like, she has serious FOMO. I feel like she has a serious fear of missing out on certain parts of life or missing out on things that a lot of people have gone through because she was already in a relationship, married and locked in with this guy. But it's like, girl, you missed out on a lot of BS. That's what you missed out on. You skipped over a lot of foolishness to have a marriage and you found your person. Or at least at the time that was your person. But nonetheless, we see Tia in her confessional and she is going on about how Corey is the only person that she's ever really loved in her life, and how Corey, he's still in her heart, but love just wasn't enough to stay in the marriage. I said, oh, okay, so maybe love was in the marriage. See, and again, y'all, I'm even more confused because she made it seem like maybe the love wasn't there. But then you say, well, love wasn't enough to keep us together. So what was the issue? Like, what was it, Tia? Because you are confusing, you're all over the place, and I need for you to figure it out. So, another thing that I've realized is that Tia ain't got no married friends. Or at least not on this show. On this show, Tia ain't got no married friends. Because I believe Essence is single. Natasha, she's been through a divorce before, but I think she may be dating somebody. And Sierra is single. Where's your married people? Now, I am not a person who believes in married people should only be friends with married people. Absolutely not. I don't believe in that at all. However, I just feel like a married person may have a different perspective than her friends right now. That's all I'm saying. I would just love to hear a different perspective and them tell it to Tia. Now, another thing that I kind of want to talk about real quick is the fact that Tia has been going on about how, Corey is my first everything, and Corey, he this, that, another. And I'm just like, okay, and the same goes for him, vice versa. You have been his everything. I'm not sure if, you were his first or not, but other than that, I feel like y'all have been each other's everything for years, okay? So I've just been finding it very interesting that there are some people who feel like, oh my gosh, Tia needs to explore because she's only been with Corey and all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, and vice versa. Like, there has never been a conversation about, oh, Corey cheated on Tia. That doesn't sound like that was ever an issue. We all know that since she told us that he waited, 5-6 years to even sleep with her. Like, first of all, girl, that's rare. But nonetheless, I'm just finding it so interesting that, people kind of feel like, oh my gosh, Tia's going through so much, and I can't believe that's the only man she's been with, and she needs to go dating and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, I can absolutely say the same thing about Corey. I wonder what he's up to. Is he out there dating? Does he know how to date? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like like I said, they only known each other. It's just really interesting. I kind of wish that we could kind of peek into his life. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on because Tia's friends, they decided they're going to take over her Raya account, re-downloaded it on her phone. They're pretending to be her so that way they can get her some dates. Again, things for the show. Now, we move on to see Tia meet up with her business partner, Karima, and they talk about her hair care line. Has anybody tried Tia's hair care line? If you have, let me know in the comments if it's a good line or not. Karima, she basically tells Tia that she wants to film like 10 to 11 videos of content or whatever. And Tia's like, oh my gosh, like I have so much on my plate. Here's the thing, you can have so much on your plate, but at the end of the day, if you want to be a business owner and you want it to be successful, you got to do what you got to do. Honestly, I'm not even mad at Karima for asking her to do so many videos because honestly, I'm sick and tired of celebrities dropping product lines, and because they have a name, they expect for it to always be consistently sold out and all of this stuff. But it's like, no, you have to actually do the work and promote your product. Okay? Because so many people, when they drop their product, we see them promoting it for a solid week and a half. And the next thing you know, they never mention that they have products. Think about it. Tia has a hair care line. Never see her promoted on her social media. Gabrielle Union has a hair care line. Taraji P. Henson has a hair care line. The list goes on. I'm just now learning that Serena Williams sells makeup. I said, since when did you sell makeup? But again, celebrities love to drop products and not promote them. But we're going to go ahead and move on because we see that Natasha and Sierra, they are trying to get Tia set up with these dates, right? Here's what I found interesting. Why did they pull up 4 guys' photos, y'all, and all 4 of them was under the age of 40? I said, you know what? Again, y'all playing right now. Tia is 46 years old. Why are most of the guys like 33? That's weird. Like, definitely giving weird. So the girls decide, oh, well, we're going to screen these guys and they're going to meet with us before they can meet with Tia, right? Okay, fine. So when each of the guys get there, we meet 3 of them. They're confused because they're expecting to see Tia, not these 2 girls. Nonetheless, we meet, I think his name was Gianluca or something like that. He was kind of giving me a little nerdy vibe or whatever. He was fine, whatever. Then we see Phil. Y'all, if you've ever watched Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, it's the same Phil. Now, I cannot lie. The man done cut his hair and he looked kind of good, okay? I ain't gonna knock it. However, they were not feeling Phil, okay? Because they asked that man, oh, what's your love language? And he was like, oh, I don't really know what it is. I mean, like, I don't know the list of them, but I would probably say touch. So he says that his love language is touch. And then one of them mentioned like, oh, words of affirmation. And he was like, oh, no, it's definitely not words of affirmation. And they were like, why? And he said, because whenever the women in my family compliment me, it's because they're asking for money. Y'all, I forgot how funny Phil was because I did laugh at that. I said, oh, you gonna be real truthful, aren't you? Now, here's the thing. The girls copped an attitude about it because his love language was not words of affirmation. As in, he doesn't want a woman to constantly give him compliments, not vice versa. And I need for them to understand how love languages work because they kind of copped the attitude like, you don't want to tell your girl she looks good? And I'm just like, well, that's not the same thing. Him complimenting her is okay because that may be her love language. Him, complimenting her, saying, baby, you look good. I like this on you. I like that on you. Whatever. But I just don't understand why they copped the attitude. I feel like there was so many attitudes copped in this episode, or should I say in this scene, I was a little confused. So then they brought up gifts or something like that. And he was like, why am I giving gifts? Is it because I got caught doing something? I said, now, Phil, you got to cut it out, okay? They do not get your sense of humor. It's very clear. But nonetheless, then we saw the other guy, Gianluca. He was asked, oh, what happened in your last relationship, I think? And he said, oh, I broke up with the girl because I can't even remember why he broke up with her. But for some reason, Natasha had an attitude because he said he broke up with the girl. So then, he kind of corrected himself to say, oh, well, we broke up. No, if you were the one who initiated the breakup, saying, you know what, this isn't working, I like you as a person, we're cool, but I just don't think that we need to go further in this relationship, you are the person who broke up with that person. I don't know why Natasha had an attitude. Honestly, Natasha had a chip on her shoulder this entire scene. It was given weird. So then they end up asking Phil, why did his last relationship end? Y'all, this man got up here and said because the woman had an abortion. However, she already had kids. Why would you not carry my black baby to full term, but you let your white ones live? I was a little taken aback. I cannot lie. But I feel like I don't understand why everybody was so, oh my gosh, how dare he say that? When I feel like he had a valid point. If you are dating somebody who already has kids, okay, and y'all are dating each other, this woman gets pregnant, and then she decides, oh, you know what? I don't want to have this baby. It could be a serious situation of she will date a black man, but she don't want to have no black babies. Let's not act like it ain't white women out here that's like that. Like, be so for real. Like, I was a little confused because I feel like we could have went a little further into field business and be like, wait, so I have questions, sir. But it kind of just left right there. Now, we got to get to this guy, Joey, okay? Now, Joey, he said that, he doesn't really prefer a woman with kids, but at the same time, he's 38 years old, okay? Now, we all already know that Tia has children, and her friend was just like, okay, but you know that Tia has children. And he's like, yeah, I do know that, or whatever. So Natasha is like, okay, so how is that going to work? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, well, I mean, I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm 38. And she's like, well, what does that have to do with Tia Mowry? I said, I kind of get what he was saying. He didn't phrase it correctly. His point was, I'm 38 years old. I would prefer to have a woman who doesn't have children. However, at this big grown age, I know that a lot of women in my age bracket already have children. So that's just something that comes with the territory with dating a woman in my age bracket. But nonetheless, they end up asking this man a few more questions or whatever. And I don't know what happened because, this whole scene was chopped up. But he was like, I'm impressed by y'all, but I'm also annoyed because, my time is really important. Basically saying, I came here to meet Tia. I did not come here to meet the two Stooges. Shout out to 11 Bears Detroit. I did not come here to meet y'all because this is kind of wasting my time. So at this point, energy's all weird, okay? He ends up leaving and Natasha is pissed, okay? To the point where she's like, he can't even afford her. He got a rented suit on. His clothes are all tight. And I'm just like, girl, you're doing a lot right now considering that man is not your man. He's not even a potential for you. Why are you going so hard? Like, relax. The fact that the producers had to come by and try to tell her to calm down is crazy to me. Like, that was extremely weird. Like, do y'all think that Sierra and Natasha was giving off weird energy? Because I kind of do. Nonetheless, the last guy, he shows up or whatever, and basically it seems like he's going to be potentially a good candidate for Tia because that is where the episode went off. Y'all, how do y'all feel about this show so far? Please tell me in the comments. Like, maybe y'all can shed some light on what's going on with Tia because I'm still confused about why she got this divorce from Corey. I still think that she needs to focus on herself and not worry about having a partner at this point in her life. And also, do y'all think that the dates were that bad? Like, did you think that the guys were that bad? Or were the friends being dramatic? Y'all, drop down in the comments and let me know. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.